Hey everybody, this is Chad Raney with Trust Your Passion. Trust Your Passion is a passion movement. A passion movement is so I can interview other people to know what are their what's their passion. And apparently, I had 2 interviews with a gentleman. This is a 2-part series. There's one video where I did the first interview, and the second interview where I think he had a little beef with the Philippines. He wasn't happy. He was ready to get the hell out of here. And then actually I saw him a couple days after I videoed him this one, and he was boxing all of his stuff so he could get the hell out of here and go to Thailand. So I have his information. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a third episode in Thailand, interviewing him in the future. We'll see. But just enjoy these 2 videos. He's a very smart man who learned law and banking. And he lived in New York. And he was just very bustle. He was saying that I think part of his beef was he just said that, you know, they weren't progressing enough. They're not moving fast enough. It's like he wants it done now, he wants it done this way, and he wants it done this way. And so look, you gotta chill here. You just gotta slow down, you gotta chill, and you gotta understand, you gotta respect the culture here. It's a very different culture, as you know, and we hope you enjoy this video. This is gonna be 2 parts, so this is the first part, and also we're gonna show the second part also. So I hope you enjoy the videos, and I appreciate you. If you could like and subscribe and notify, that way you know whenever you have any new videos, you can be notified and know exactly what's going on here in Cebu City. Thank you, I appreciate you, and thank you for your time.
In Manila. Now, I don't really know anyone there. I wasn't there long enough to make friends, but I do see the mentality of like, if you don't live here, we don't really want to bother with you because you're just someone passing through. That's the mentality that I've gotten. You know, you don't really live here. You're just passing through, so there's not a lot of trust in you because you don't live here. Yeah, maybe someone will go out and have coffee with you or dinner with you, and they have to bring a friend or a family member. Maybe they'll do that. But as for anything else beyond that, it's like if you don't show someone you live here, you're here long term, it's like there's no, I'm really willing to be comfortable, let my hair down, and let me get to even know you or you know my friends or the family. That's the experience that I have gotten.
It's so hard to get them away from their phone. That's every country, that's around the world, and it's not just here, but it's around the world. But here, everybody gets on the phone, and they just, you can't, they tune you out, and it's hard to tune into somebody, a human person, and understand their body language. You know, I totally understand that. So what do you think are some of the weaknesses, strengths and weaknesses? What do you think what are the strengths of the Philippines in your opinion? You're from here.
The strengths?
Yeah, some of it's good things, you know, some
what
of
are the good things about the Philippines?
Good things about Philippines. Literally, when there's some foreign, we don't really like judging them, like how is their color like that. And when we see some like them foreign, we just, oh, they're nice. They're like, their eyes are different from us, like their nose, they're tall. That's why some Filipino like foreign, because they have tall nose, and like us, we don't have like that tall nose, but we can like, you know, push it like anything like. And maybe, you know, the education. We're really into education, so that when we like graduate, we have our permanent work. We can help our family like that. That's our really our dream. And maybe we are also like hardworking, but you know, Filipino time, like when you
Filipino time.
When you like, oh, we will meet at this like 8 a.m. in the morning. We go on 10, like that.
Yeah, I
We
know.
will meet like 10.
2 hours later
Like-
they show up. But because
Yeah.
jeepneys, people around, they get around on jeepneys, on motorcycles, and cabs. Cabs are the most expensive.
Yeah.
Motorcycles
We use
are the cheapest, but jeepneys
we use
are the
jeepneys
cheapest.
because
So jeepneys, how
15.
much is it for a jeepney?
15 pesos, 13.
Exactly.
Yeah, when you like, even you here when you
get to
ride
go
like,
here, the IT park.
yeah, it's only 15
Local,
pesos. Not like you're
Colon,
going to get some Grab like Maxim.
It's very inexpensive.
Yeah, expensive.
Yeah, it's very. Jeepneys are very inexpensive.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know jeepney was, inexpensive because no, I've never been on one.
Yeah.
I've been in a taxi.
If it was a wheelchair accessible, I would hop on one too. But no.
I've been in a taxi. I've been on a motor scooter, but I've never been in a jeepney because I just never sort of like it's too full. I need my space. I've
tall?
yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 6 feet tall, so I need my space. I need to be able to stand up. And because everyone in there is like on top of each other, yes. Are they like that in New York City? Yes, it is. But because I haven't, I guess I've grown accustomed to like, I need my space. Everyone in New York needs their little space.
Subway. You don't want, yeah, exactly.
No one wants to be.
Somebody's gonna steal your wallet. I mean, you're supposed to steal your shit.
So we need our space. We demand our space. And it's not an easy thing to like crowd up in like this little van and just
Be
like,
careful on jeepneys. Somebody stealing your wallet, stealing.
No.
And there are some people that get close to a girl and see a girl and start rubbing on a girl. Also,
Yeah.
I've talked to my caregiver. She said that men have sat right next to them and kind of like started like touching them and their bodies, stuff like that. It's very.
wow.
Yeah.
That's what my friend. That's what I was told. Is that correct?
Yeah. But now
A creepy guy sits next to you sometimes.
sometimes the issue right now is like they'll just inject you there in colon.
Yeah.
It's inject and then they'll get your money and you get
They
DC.
inject you
They inject.
with something in your arm, and they steal all of your shit, and it knocks you out.
Well, how don't you say anything? Ow. Oh my God, help me. Ow.
Knocks you out.
I mean, just that fast? I mean, it enters your
There's also
bloodstream.
electric thing.
Yeah, electric thing that it's
Stinger.
Okay.
Stinger.
Okay.
So there's just different things. I mean, it's like very different here. It's just like,
But people see these things and no one says anything? Like, I mean, come on, I have a taser also. And so, if I had to hit that taser, you're gonna hear and it's loud. It isn't like, quiet.
has he tased you yet? I'm joking.
So, like when don't people see and won't they do anything? Like, this is where I mean, like, somewhat the mentality here is like a little lackadaisical when it comes to like, they see things, but they won't do anything. They see unacceptable things going on wrong, and no one says that's wrong. And as I've talked to Laura and I've discovered more about, the culture here, she's like saying, yeah, this is true. Yeah, this is true. Yeah, this is true. And I'm like, so everything's sort of like a facade. It's just everyone's pretending what, they think is acceptable when really, you and I may feel like, nah, this isn't acceptable.
There are people from other countries that look at the Philippines and they think that it's just old men looking for young women. But I'm seeing young mean like underage, which I am not agree at all.
Okay.
I do not at all. I will never go to lunch with anybody with their friends. They bring their friends sometimes. One girl brought me a friend one day. She was 19. She brought her 17-year-old, and I said, no, she's not allowed to come. I said, no. And I mean, I don't want to sit in front of a minor who's actually with the legal of age. Legal of age, the consent used to be 13.
Okay.
And they just raised it to 16 for consent.
Okay, that's here.
The Philippines. The Philippines.
the legal age here is 18 years old.
But it used to be
Yeah.
Okay.
13. It used to be 13 with consent. I'm just saying, these are crazy numbers. But I know, exactly. But it's only happened a couple of years. It's only a couple of years ago it's happened. So I don't understand that is. So, how can I say this? I don't know what. I'm kind of at a blank.
You know, to look at someone who's not of age, you know, when you, I want to say, you're 30, 40 years old, and, you know, it may be acceptable here, you know, for a 16 or 17-year-old girl to go out with you. But what type of conversation can you have? You know, when this person can't even articulate themselves. Not only are they shy, but how can they even articulate themselves when they have no experience? They've never traveled, they've never done anything. So I find that to be, I want to say, predatory. Like, you're just looking at this person like, okay.
There are some creeps. There are a lot of creeps out there. Foreigners that are creeps. And it's just, there are people from Australia. They're loud, make a lot of noise. They're very loud. And I've been told that they come here for the ladyboys.
I think that there is some truth to that, only because of this. I have seen some Caucasian guys here, like walking around with a ladyboy, and I'm like, does he know? And I actually want to walk up to him and like say something, but I don't know if that would be like acceptable, because maybe it's like this is his preference. So for me to like sort of like walk up to this person and be like, and it's a ladyboy, you know, that's a shim. Maybe he knows already, but I'm starting to see it more and more in here in Ayala Mall. I'm seeing like people like, yo, that's a guy. I hear this person's voice. They may look like a woman, but that's a guy. Oh my God. Oh shoot, doesn't this guy know? And I'm like, this isn't just a one-time or a two-time thing. This is like 6 times, 7 times, 8 times. I'm like,
well, they're all coming from Thailand. Thailand is big supporters of ladyboys.
Yeah, ladyboys.
And I've never been to Thailand.
okay.
Oh,
It's a great place to visit, and believe it or not, you would really enjoy it because it's modern. The things that you may be looking for, like, for example, accessibility, elevators everywhere. Like, yes, you would not be able to, oh, I can't find accessibility to get on a train and travel. No, yes, you would.
So where else have you been?
Okay, along with the Philippines, I've been to Thailand, I've been to the Bahamas, Venezuela, Brazil, Dominican Republic.
So which one of those towns, which one are accessible? Accessibility.
Thailand, Bangkok specifically, is very accessible. So that means when you get out of the airplane, they have ramps that are moving that will help you move faster. Everything basically is sort of like, you know, either an incline or downcline ramp. And basically once you clear immigration, again, ramps. Yes, they do have, and they have elevators. So it would not be very difficult for you to traverse, you know, the landscape of the airport as well as Bangkok. They have large, I'm talking very large sidewalks. The sidewalks have like ramps, so you can, it won't be like, you know, oh, I can't get up. No, they actually have an incline where you can drive up on the sidewalk, and they are large sidewalks. And where you would think, okay, I can't get to this staircase, no, they have elevators. So you would not be like, okay, how do I get down? I don't know. There's a lot of elevators. They're really, really big on having accessibility for, you know, for people with disabilities.
Good to know.
As well as the malls.
Thank you for your, I appreciate you telling me that.
Sure.
So, real quick, what else is on your mind? I know there's a lot on your mind all the time.
Yes.
I don't want to slow you down, but if you could say one impactable thing about living here? Is it worth it to come here from the U.S.?
I want to say if you're going to come here from the U.S., you need to visit and weigh the pros and the cons on the environment, the landscape, the process of getting, multiple visa extensions to stay here. Things like that, like the Wi-Fi here is not that great. It's deplorable, and sometimes, being able to communicate with people who may find, may not be interested, may not really, they may smile and say hi, and here's my phone number, but they may not truly be interested in getting to know who you are, getting to know about your culture. So you really need to come here and evaluate a lot of things, before you...
Be careful of meeting people online. They're scammers.
Yes. Come and try to meet people face to face. That's what I recommend, because if you can't meet people face to face and build a rapport with them, even slowly, how do you expect to build a relationship with someone online that you really don't know who's who?
I agree. So, what do you think about local foreigners that you've got here? So tell me a little bit about your friendship.
It's good, and I like enjoy going around with him, and I'm happy because this first time I think going there when I was working, someone will give me food, he will give me oh, you can go eat this, and he buy me something something to eat.
I discovered that a lot of people here don't get to even eat. They come to work, they work, and then they maybe rest for their hour, and maybe a lot of times they don't have money. So, so a lot of people don't know this, but every other Sunday, I will go to Metro. I will buy a loaf of bread. I will buy meat and cheese, packs of chips and cookies and bottles of water. And I'll go there by, it's called Robinson's Galleria. And there's homeless people there. And I will just hand out sandwiches to some of the homeless people there. No, I don't promote that, I'm trying to feed, them, and they don't have to work, but I actually see people with children. I mean, infants, 2 years old, laying and sleeping on a cardboard box on the ground, and it's it bothers me. So to know that there are some people that, even though you're working, you have a job, you don't have enough money to even eat.
Yeah.
There's a lot of poor people here, and I don't need to talk bad about them at all. I respect them, but I come here every day. Somebody asks me for money, I tell them no. I've got beggars on every corner.
I mean, I don't have a problem helping someone get them a slice of pizza, buying them some food, but I'm not into giving someone just, my money. But I will give somebody some food. I will buy someone some food, and I see her walking, and as we started, just being friendly, as I would see her work, I asked her, hey, did you eat? And she'd be like, no. You need breakfast? And then she'd be like, did you eat lunch? No. It's okay, here, I'm gonna get you something, because you don't know. Maybe they didn't have time, and then I started to discover that she was only maybe eating one meal a day. So it's wow, no, here, I just want to help her and share, what God blessed me with. And it doesn't hurt me to, share things with someone, as long as maybe I can help make her life better, or just make someone's day better.
I appreciate you, man. That's about, I pretty much got everything you want to say. I think, is there anything else you want to say real quick?
For everyone who's considering coming here, please do your research first. Know that, you know, it's not as bad as, you know, maybe to some people it won't be as bad. You know, I come from a city that never sleeps. It's almost like Las Vegas, and again, it moves at the speed of sound. So there may be some people who may come here, they're a little older, you know, they're ready to settle down, you know, they're not moving as fast as I am. So maybe they can accept unacceptable certain things, and maybe, you know, they may say, okay, well, I can accept this and I can't accept that, and it's a slower pace of life and I don't care. I can't really do that because some things eventually that will bother me will make my teeth start to grind. I say, okay, I've had enough. Okay, let me stay in the house. I can't be so bothered because, you know, here, if you crack your voice too loud, everyone looks at you like you're crazy. If you just like show some type of disapproval for certain things, everyone looks at you like you're crazy. Like just because you said something. I'll give you some examples in KFC or even like in like the grocery store. If you were in front of me, I'm gonna give you an arm length of space. I'm not gonna get that close to you because you may want your space. People here don't respect other people. They will get this close up on you and think that it's okay, and then when I turn around and, you know, it's just like, how comfortable do you feel if I'm like this? Then it's just like they realize like, oh, sorry. It's like, well, why couldn't you realize that it makes some people uncomfortable for you to be that close? You know, it's just like people, I've had to like deal with this since I've been here, that if you come here, people will not respect your space boundaries as we do in America. So be prepared for that.
It's their country, and we are foreigners on their country, on their land. So we kind of have to accept some of their cultures, their norms, which are not our, we don't have the same norms, and they have different norms that we have.
Correct.
So, but I think that, you know, overall, I think that it's minor things here or major things here.
Yes.
Can I deal with the major thing or
yes.
make it a minor thing?
Correct. You have to say, okay, this major thing is a minor thing. Whereas I said, sometimes I'll just stay at home, you know, woosah, stay calm. So if I do go outside, it's like this thing that would normally bother me doesn't bother me as much because I've taken some time to put like a buffer of like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to allow this to bother me because I've taken some time away from things that would maybe bother me, you know? And doing that, it does help. It does help to maybe have someone also who is willing to help interact with individuals that maybe they have a little more patience for. I do have patience, but at times I know it runs out. And I'm trying to have more tolerance for things that, you know, are different. But then when I sometimes reflect back and I look at, okay, well, I see different nationalities and cultures in my country, and guess what? They're not respecting us. They're not respecting us, and they're not respecting things. So as I'm not trying to be selfish, I'm not trying to say, oh, because over here I need to be like this, but I just realized, like, you know, there's a lot of different nationalities in America who won't even learn to speak the culture, the language. They won't adapt to a culture, but they want as many benefits as they see we have. And it's like, hey, African Americans, they fought for this. This wasn't just like, okay, here you go. There was, you know, civil wars where a lot of people had to die, you know, for basically someone to say, well, okay, you deserve this. And then it was like that fight was won, but guess what? The battle was still going on. For you to have to fight for these other things where it's like, okay, there's a level of respect on the surface that's shown to you that may be like, okay, well, we're gonna show this to you on the surface. I don't want for people to think when they go to America that it's okay for you all not to know anything about the culture, about the language, about, you know, people, and think they can just go there and like, I'm gonna run to my community because there's a bunch of Hispanics or Filipinos or Asians or whatever living here, and think I can disregard what you've established, because I don't need to communicate with you. We have a community here already set up. Well, guess what? If it wasn't for that community of African Americans fighting for civil rights or that immigration bill, other foreigners would not be able to even come to America. It's called the Immigration Act. If African Americans didn't fight for that, no one would be able to come there. And so people need to be really considerate of how certain laws came to be and why you're even able to come there, before you simply say, well, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, because as I've learned in the Dominican Republic, there are older men over there that don't have a problem dating a minor, and it's okay, it's acceptable. But let one of us go over there and date someone who's 17 years old. They'll crucify us. They will crucify you. They will throw you under the jail. So it's just a mindset of like what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. And what you feel is, as you said, taking a major thing and making it a small thing and saying, I'm gonna brush that off my shoulders. I'm going to relax and say, you know what, this isn't worth the energy to fight.
It's a very different world. You know, there's abortion, no abortion. There are no abortions here. People don't have abortions here. When they're married for life. The person that they marry here in the Philippines, you can't just get a divorce quick, easy. It's going to take you 6 years just to get it annulled. Yeah. And also, there's so if you ever marry anybody here, you're not only marrying them, you're marrying their family.
Yeah, you're marrying
and their family, and you always support your family. That's just the culture. That's just like, I'm just saying, it's just like my caregiver, her grandmother passed away yesterday, so she's going next week, and like, you know, she's just like, there are certain things that, you know, we don't have assisted living centers like here. Families take care of their families here more and more, and so but there's no abortion. When you marry somebody, you're marrying them for life, and then if you need to get an annulment, it's going to cost you about 250 to 300,000 pesos just to get an annulment, and it's going to take you about 5 or 6 years. And there's no divorce. They're saying if it's going to come through, they're saying that's going to be legal one day, but everything goes really slow. And, so it's just there's just some very different things here. Or if your girlfriend, you want to take her back to the U.S., marry her in Las Vegas, you can do that and bring her back here.
Or you can marry her on a ship, cruise ship. That's an alternative. Marry another country. That's an alternative. I mean, the marriage is still official by an official of that country or that state, but you don't have to basically, I guess, lock yourself into what is the norm done here, because I think you would have a lot more ground to stand on if you basically got married on like a cruise ship or maybe another country, compared to like here, where it's like, okay, we have a lot of witnesses, you did this, you did that. I always said that, if I do, consider getting married to a Filipina here, I'd want to live in another country, not the U.S., but we can live comfortably in another country, where I'm not from there, she's not from there, so it's like the place is like Switzerland. I don't have a ground to stand on, you don't have too much, of a ground to stand on, so we need to make this work where I don't have to worry about your family moving in and kicking me out just because I don't want to say the word foolish, but naive to think, okay, I'm going to build a family and a house here and, with my Filipina and purchase some land and have a house. And then before you know it, I have, mom and dad, you know, staying in the guest room and they won't move out, and then the cousins are coming, and before you know it, you have a whole bunch of people sleeping on the couches. It's like, what happened to?
I don't think that. I don't think that's the case, but I just think that I'm just saying when you marry the women, marry their family. What I mean is like there seems like a financial responsibility to help people eat their meals, stuff like that. I think that families. I think that there's always. It depends on how many people are in a family. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
In my real mother, I have 5. But since I was adopted, I'm only 1.
All right, so 6. So, but the point is, like, there's a lot of people that there's a one person helps them bring all the money or whatever, and just
The breadwinner.
The breadwinner.
Yeah, breadwinner. There's a lot of breadwinner. Yeah, are you a breadwinner?
Yeah.
Exactly. You're a breadwinner for your family, working at Metro, and I respect you. I mean, I respect that. I have a lot of respect for people that do that. But at some point, you know, I think that they're not getting paid much.
So you really can't be the breadwinner if you're not getting enough to even support yourself.
Yeah.
How do you become the breadwinner?
Yeah, exactly. If you want to come here, yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a caregiver. I pay a caregiver. It ain't cheap, but it's cheaper in the U.S. I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry I'm rambling.
It's okay.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate you as well. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to voice some concerns, voice some opinions, voice a lot of things that I don't know if a lot of other bloggers are open to having someone express, because I see a lot of people and it's like, yo, they talk about it, but it's with some sugar, you know, icing on it to make it taste or sound really good. And it's like, okay. And some people, no. Some people actually say and express, you know, the real deal Holyfield. You know, they're not going to sugarcoat anything. They're going to really say, hey, listen, this is how it is. You know, and you won't get a spin on it. You're really going to see.
No bullshit.
Yeah, no BS.
Bullshit. I don't believe bullshit. I want to have conversations. And if people can learn from you when they come here, you're helping them.
Correct.
We're all helping each other by embracing our lives here.
Right.
8,000 miles away from where we live.
Because your life is your experience. And that experience can give someone else a better experience when they come.
Exactly.
Knowing is half the battle.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And you never, you didn't have any paperwork. You did. I mean, in my opinion, there's conflict
of interest, yeah.
Exactly. So, and I'm like, and he's like, and kind of, and I said, and then I ended. I was like, by the way, I like your Louis Vuitton sneakers for like $500. And he, I laughed it off, whatever. But I don't want to argue with him. But I just want to like let you know that you got to know exactly what you're doing before you start sending me somewhere else. And that kind of like that was like a holy shit moment to me.
Well,
but the other one
that goes, you know, towards the customer service, you know, aspect of treating somebody like they would want to be treated. And you know, I think I mentioned this earlier too before. I think the mentality here has come to the realize. No, I don't think it's a realization. They just simply feel that unacceptable is acceptable. So when someone approaches them and shows them something better, it's a little difficult for them to really embrace it and understand what they have, only because they're accustomed to subpar treatment, subpar respect, you know, disrespect, unacceptable behavior, until when someone says, no, this is how it is, it's like, No, it's hard for me to accept. No, I don't want that. I'd rather you disrespect me, give me bad service, or just me not say anything about bad service and continue the lie, continue the deception. Let's keep the face, of, our pride, and let's let everyone think that, yes, we give you the best customer service. It's gonna be, the best this and the best that, when, it's subpar. It's unacceptable in a lot of places, and no one criticizes anybody because they don't want someone to know and realize, hey, this is kind of shitty. Why won't you do better?
Yeah, but we can only do so much here. So it's only one person's voice at some point, and it's hard to communicate with 1.1 million people. You're out of your hood, yes, or your neighborhood, whatever. I don't mean that negative at all. But I mean, now you're here.
I'm out of my element. I'm out of my element.
Yeah. So real quick. So another thing, just so you know, there's no divorce here. So people here, when they get married until they die. Unless they can also get an annulment. But an annulment costs you, I think, 250,000 pesos to 400,000 pesos.
Wow.
And it costs you 6 years.
So it'll cost
6
me
years.
all of that money, and then it will take relatively 6 years for me to get a divorce, or for a Filipino to get a divorce from the other Filipino. They have come to the realization, this shit ain't working. Me and this motherfucker ain't vibing no more.
Oh yeah. So the other thing is, so the thing we're talking about the conversation. So whenever I moved here, I got on Tinder. I met my caregivers, and just as a caregiver, and then I dated, went out with one or two, whatever. But I stopped dating online. Dating online was the biggest scam. Because
I agree.
Because guess what? Number one, every time I ever met anybody, I asked them, number one, are you a man or are you a woman? Are you a man or are you a woman? Sounds simple, right?
Yes.
But a lot of times they say woman. Even if they're lady boy, they say woman.
They say they're a woman.
And
huh?
I say, are you a lady boy or a woman?
Okay.
So I'm saying because I've met people and you're like, what the fuck? I'm saying. So I have a filter. So that's the number one filter. I don't want to date any lady boy ever. I'm sorry. I just don't. I think it's. I don't. It's hard for me to swallow that pill, so to speak. Number two. Then I would ask, are you married? Because there are a lot of women, when you meet them online, they're meeting you, but guess what? They have 3 children or whatever, and their baby daddy married them a long time ago, but he left them, but they never got an annul because they can't afford to get an annul. Who here that makes an average of 30,000 pesos a month, how the hell could they ever afford to get their own annul?
They can't.
Exactly.
Especially, when they are basically living from paycheck to paycheck, and then a lot of their income goes towards other members in their family, which aren't employed, may not be looking for work, or some are in school trying to get an education.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was So number one, are you married? And then they're like, no, I'm single. And I say, how many children do you have? Because I've got I'm okay with 1, maybe 2. But then one time, a girl, she said she had 12 freaking children.
Wow.
12.
Wow.
I'm like, and then another one had 10. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, holy shit.
What were they, triplets, quadruplets?
I don't know. Anyway, but I thought those were really weird. So, but, and then from that point, if they were single, awesome. For example, I just met a girl a couple weeks ago. She's 34. She has a 16-year-old daughter. And I'm like, that's perfect age, 34. Because I met people from that are 20-year-old, and there's some point where that whole gap, generation gap, I just don't want to date young women like that. In my opinion, just personally. But I'm not offending anybody else saying that. But here, when you meet people, you ask people, what's your passion? And guess what? A lot of people say, I like young women. That's what a lot of people say. I don't ever look at it like that. I look at it like on a bigger scale. Like I love music. I love writing. I love reading. I have a lot of other passions. And of course I love women. And but here's the thing is like at some point in our country, I started researching the 6 other countries to go to.
Okay.
And I was going to go to them all, but I got here and I was going to go to Thailand, Vietnam, and now I'm like why? Why do I want to go anywhere else? This is all I need. This is all I need in my life and right now, and it's the cost of living here is so much cheaper. Now, just so you know, Thailand, it's going to cost you twice as much for food.
No, I disagree. I disagree.
My friend just got back this week.
Okay.
He just told me, he said that, and also the other thing is, and my other friend, he goes to Vietnam, it costs half as much to live there.
Okay.
So it's half as much to live in Vietnam.
So it's cheaper to live in Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
And it's more expensive to live here, but it's cheaper also to live in Thailand. Did you know that? Yes, you could get, and
I haven't been there yet, but it's on my list.
Thailand is, for you, I think it's one of the best places that you could visit because everything is wheelchair accessible.
Really?
Yes. The moment you get out of the airplane, and your wheelchair is placed there, they automatically have wheelchair accessible escalators, like they're moving, so you don't have to sit there and move. They have a wheelchair, I want to call it a ramp, for you to go right up to customs, and it's like, okay, no, I'm in a wheelchair, so no, I get to go through this line.
Oh, yeah.
So, and once you get out of customs, guess what? You don't have to try to figure out, well, how am I going to go get my baggage? They have escalators, inclined escalators, that basically are for wheelchairs. They have lots of elevators, so you'll find it relatively easy to traverse that airport very, very quickly.
Well, I was in Costa Rica for 2 months before I ever got here, and they have a wheelchair accessible vans.
Okay.
But unless you wanted a wheelchair accessible bathroom, you had to get a big brand cup. Actually, I lived in I had a good deal on my Airbnb.
Okay.
But their prices were about to go up big time because rainy season was ending and then summer season was starting. And so my rate were about to double.
Okay.
And but they're nice. But there are some. I mean, think about it. Like for example, Costa Rica. I think I paid $1,200 a month for my a 2-bedroom condo.
Okay.
Right in the middle of the east side. It's called Big Urban, URBN. Awesome building. Huge bars and restaurants right around the area. It was really, really cool. But, and I dated one girl. She was really sweet, beautiful girl. But I just like, yeah. Then she said she needed to pay her $100 for get her babysitter for her mom. I'm like,
Okay.
I just got you an Uber to get here to have dinner with me. And I bought you dinner. And you had fun. And I bought you drinks. And now you want me to give you money to give to your mom to take care of your child? No. But here, like, you know, there's just there, you know, as you know, there's different things out there everywhere.
We're gonna have different situations and different scenarios, you know, wherever we go, with each and every different person.
Yeah.
I'll give you another example of something that recently happened where I live. Now, when you rent, you know, a property, the property inside, if it goes bad, an appliance breakdown, who's responsible for fixing it? Is it the tenant or the owner? Well, first the refrigerator broke down in this apartment, and when I mentioned this to the owner, she made a suggestion that I should buy a new refrigerator, and it took a while for them to fix it, and then all my food went bad because, you know, it's like
They're not gonna be.
they're not in a rush. They're not in a rush to basically replace a refrigerator or anything like that. So I lost literally about.
Where was this?
This is where I live at.
Okay.
And they were not in a rush, so I literally lost about $60, $65 worth of food, you know, because they refused to replace it. Maybe later on, later on, the stove broke down. The circuit in the back of it just, you know, went out. And I told the owner again, and they moved a little quickly, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to. They didn't want to like move
Everybody's
as
on
quickly.
Filipino time here.
So what does that mean? Filipino time?
Like island time? Have you ever been to
Yes, I lived
Key
in
West, Florida?
No, but I've lived in the Dominican Republic.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying that in Key West, Florida, I've been there several times years ago. I bought a condo here years ago. I loved going down there so much. Go snorkeling. And hop on a big catamaran, go snorkeling, and not deal with all the sand. Because me and the sands don't mix. So it had a great time, but if you ever need to build anything there, good luck finding helpers. Guess what? Everybody's on island time. It's called an island time. That means like you live on an island where it's like some days you want to work, some days you don't. That's kind of like this whole culture here.
So how does any of the people within the culture ever get anything accomplished if everybody's on what in America is called CPT time, color people time, where it's acceptable to arrive late, go late, leave late? If everyone's on, you know, island time or CPT time.
CPT time, what is CPT time?
Color people time, where everyone just arrives late. That's what it means, CPT time, where you just arrive late. Because
so what causes that?
what causes that is your lack of concern for the time of other people, your disregard for what the other person.
That sounds like lazy.
Yes, that
Okay,
is.
I just want to make sure. All I'm saying, that's lazy there. Here, it's like islands. Like we have, you know, there's 7,100 islands in the Philippines. Did you know if you hopped on a plane and went to another island every day, 16 years later, maybe 21 years later, it's like 16 or 21. Yeah, I don't know what the number exactly is, and it'll be updated on the video. But do you realize if you did that and went to a different island every day, it would take you 16 to 21 years to do that.
Oh, wow.
Because there are so many islands.
Okay.
And so if you realize that, and you realize that, you know, Manila is like the big New York City, as you know, and then Makati is where all of the banking and financing businesses out of there. And but here, Cebu is just a little. It's called the Queen of the Queen of the Philippines.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's very different. It's like the Waga, the guitar guys. They play music down. I mean, it's just more. It's in my opinion, it's more laid back here, and maybe that's a good thing, and maybe that's a bad thing. You know,
There's not enough balance.
Yeah. For me, I now, like, for example, my friend, she was gonna come here, and you know, I mean, they're gonna be here at 4 o'clock. Guess what? 7 o'clock. But I mean, she had to get some medicine for her daughter. I understand. I said, no rush, no rush. I mean, I'm not in a rush because she's a cool chick, and like, she'll be here when she gets here. But like, I'm not the kind of guy that wants to go, where are you now? I don't want to do that. I've let go of like this layer of myself.
Okay.
By living here for a year. And the other thing is just so you know, there have been other people in the past. There's a video on YouTube about it. I'll show them about that. But anyway, but there was I think the same Oslo, same area. There was a guy who, a foreigner was here with his girlfriend, and he had sex with her, but she was married, and they both got arrested. Because here, if you're married to a Filipino woman, if she cheats on you, they both go to jail.
Whoa. How was that? Why is that?
The woman who cheated on her husband with a foreigner, she is just as guilty as he is. But the other thing, yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, all right, just say for example, a foreigner comes here, he meets a girl, maybe he did or maybe he didn't know she was married. Because there are a lot of people that don't tell you that, so you gotta make sure to look at their ID also. You gotta look at their ID.
Okay.
Always look at their IDs. So, but here, let me just put it like this. If I'm living here in the Philippines, and then I walked home, and my Filipino girlfriend was screwing another foreigner, whether I'm a Filipino or not, but I'm married here to her, and she's a Filipino also, and I'm just saying, there are crazy things that have happened. I've read this little thing about it, but where a guy, he shot both of them, killed both of them, and he's off. He didn't go to prison. It's just very different. There's just very different situations. But a lot of that becomes because you don't ever want to touch anybody else, even if they're married. You don't want to touch them because it's going to cause more problems in your life, and it's going to cause maybe the police involved. It may be, like, for example, if guy ever finds out that your messenger on their phone or something like that, and he calls the cops, guess what? I mean, like, if they have the, I don't know exactly how they have to find all that out, but I'm saying it's very different. Another thing, I told you before, but they say that divorces are going to be coming here, which, you know, everything works really slow here. And but also, there are no abortions here at all. There are no legal abortions here at all. And you know what? When you come here and you look around at beautiful women, and you notice, like, one girl's 34, she looks like she's 28. One girl, she's 25, she looks like she's 19. You just don't ever know how old people are here. But it's also very strange where, you know, there's zero sex education.
Okay.
Zero. And there's just a lot of things that are very different here. But I love it here, and I have good friends here. And, you know, I just ran into my friend from Texarkana. His wife lives in Texarkana, and I met him when I started my first medical supply business in 1994. He and his girlfriend and like 8 other couples that were Filipinos to live in Texarkana.
Okay.
And I started my first medical supply company, and he told me earlier, he said how my service was so much better than everybody else. Because when people said they need a wheelchair, I got them that day. I didn't wait till the next day.
Okay.
The other people, they don't want to do it today. If somebody needs a wheelchair or a hospital bed, they're getting it that day. I was very, very good at taking care of consumers, and I missed that. But at some point, a doctor wanted me to pay him $100 for a script he signed, and I'm like, I'm not gonna deal with the scammer. And that guy committed suicide in another county. So it's just, at some point, anyway, so Ralph, he is now here, has his own dialysis centers. And this goes back to another story as we're talking. So the food businesses here have all the candy, all the sugar, all the bad things that literally are killing us all. I mean, diabetes, as you know, just all the different things from all the, it's really eye-opening. My friend, he wrote a book about insulin, and he wrote the book, and I looked over there, and he created the graphics with OpenAI.
Okay.
And it looks amazing. I'm like, holy shit, this is hilarious. I mean, like, what he does is he wrote a book about, for example, the corporate healthcare. And then it showed the picture of all these big, huge, fat doctors and how everybody's dying. It's just kind of like, you know, when you look, anyway, it's a long story, but my friend, Gorditos, he's big in the dialysis business, and there's a lot of money in that business. But, you know, but I ran into him earlier before I saw you. I went to church today, and I go to church right next to your building, and then I came out here, and then I went to lunch with one of my friends from church and my girlfriend from church, and so we came here, and then I just happened to run into my friend. I haven't seen in years, but I told him when I was coming here, I saw him in a Mexican food restaurant in Texarkana, and I said, I'm going to the Philippines. Where should I go? He said, Cebu City. And I said, Manila? He said, no, Manila. You'll get hit by a jeepney in a heartbeat. Oh, I could get hit by a jeepney here also, but not as right. It's not as bad as Manila. Manila, it's just, too many people.
And yes, they don't have sidewalks there, you know, in Manila, where here you can find, you know, sidewalks. You can walk and find. Now, they may not be accessible for wheelchairs, but you know, you can go up a ramp, but at least you can find, you know, a person can find a sidewalk here compared to Manila. But with also Manila, the developed areas like BGC, they have sidewalks, and they have, you know, little ramps that go down and come back up, you know, accessible for people who have disabilities, you know. Yes, it is. But remember, you pay for what you get. You know, you pay basically, as they say, some people say, you pay to play. Please never think just because, you know, there's some people who, what do they call that? It's called Angeles City. Just because they pay right up the front and, you know, they get better service than someone who goes out on a date and has to go out on a few dates, you know.
That area used to be one of our bases.
Yes, I've heard. Yeah, I think for the Air Force. The Air Force. But as I was saying, basically, the people in that industry, in that service, who basically pay to play, you're going to get quicker service than you are if you basically had to, hey, can I take you out to a movie and to dinner and stuff? Because you really don't know what you're going to get at the end of the day. in in a place like this where everyone's so shy and everyone's so scared, and everyone wants to act like, well, if I talk to an American or a foreigner, I'm going to be looked at as a gold digger, and I'm afraid to be judged by my own peers, and it's just like, how are these people procreating if basically they're so afraid to socialize with us? Now maybe they're not afraid to socialize with each other, but in my experience,
I think that there are a lot of people here that I've met are they're just nice people. I mean, every time I've never been. I'll tell you what. Let me tell you this. For example, one day they put me in a ramp. They were taking me to the airport. They lifted me up in my wheelchair. I weigh like 215, and my wheelchair weighs like 200. So 400 just dead lift. I mean, like there were like 6 guys around me. But for one person may not be able to do it, but guess what? There'll always be 6 people around you that can help you wherever you are. And the culture of that is just, there are always people that want to help.
But why do they want to help? Do you think that there's like maybe a financial gain that they feel if they had to assist you, that there's going to be some sort of reward at the end of this help? Or is it just simply, okay, I helped because I wanted to help? For example, there's an area close to Robinson's Galleria. It's a little street just before you get there where a lot of Americans go to get their extension for their visa. Every other Sunday, like today, I go and I buy like just sandwich meat, cheese, cookies, chips, bottles of water, and I'll make sandwiches, put them in some plastic bags, and I'll walk down there and I'll feed the homeless people on that sidewalk, and I'm not looking for anything. I'm not asking for anything. It's just, here's some cookies, here's some chips, here's some sandwiches, here's some water, what, bye. I'm not looking for anything. I don't ask for anything. I'm not asking the government to give me a tax,
I'm glad
refund or.
I'm glad you see that, because it's a kinder country, but it's also, as I told you before, I don't know if I told you about this. A friend of mine, I met him a couple months ago. He used to be in the the pharmacy compounding business. The compounding where they're mixing this to this and they're selling it directly. There's a lot of that in the U.S. And a friend of mine, he started it about the same time I started my medical supply company, and now he has a huge business called Red River Pharmacy. But this guy here, he had a license here, and he was the only person in Cebu. And he said like 87% of all the business he did here, he just killed everybody. But at the same time, there was a company out of Manila that had already built a business also, and they're in competition with him. Well, guess what? Then all of a sudden, they checked with him, and then they said he got his renewal license. He had to renew his license. You know how much you have to renew a license? Like, for example, I'm in real estate. To renew my license, you got to pay less than $1,000 roughly. Here, you know how much they asked him they needed to pay?
No.
To re-license his business?
No. How much?
Just guess.
2,000 pesos?
8 million pesos. Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
And that guy said, "Fuck you," and walked away. He's like, because that's like 150,000 US dollars.
Wow.
So how can somebody who's building a business supposed to spend $150,000 for a license to be renewed? But there's corruption, as you know, in this area, but maybe we'll talk about that another day. I appreciate your time. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
You got anything you want to end on? It's getting dark.
I just want, to end on this. A lot of people may say that the Philippines is a great place to live. I just think that people really do need to consider doing a lot more research.
Oh yes.
Than just taking the words.
Well, the thing is, there've been so many people on. There are people that say you can live here for $1,000 US a year, $1,000 US a month. No. If you want to be poor, you can, but I guess probably 2 to 3 in that range to be able to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
That's a good price.
I would literally say, because I relatively realize that for $1,000 you can live here, like where I live at. My apartment isn't that expensive, and my food isn't that expensive. Yes, I have other revenue. Yes, I do. But I have my credit card, so I can hop on an airplane and go, okay, I want to go here and I want to go there, and still live comfortable here. But maybe once you start getting a woman, and you start traveling, you start eating, you may actually need an additional $1,000, an extra $1,500.
And I have to pay for a caregiver, so I have 2 caregivers because I broke my foot last year when I got here, and I broke my foot, and so since then now I have to have somebody lift me up, and he gets behind me, literally gets under my legs, and lift me up, put me in my back. I used to be able to stand up and pivot. But I ran over my own foot, broke my own foot, and I haven't healed up. So my foot still kills me, but it's just things happen. But you know what? It's not going to slow me down.
Great.
I'm going to keep going forward.
Great. Well, I just want people to know that if they do consider
research,
because everything that they're hearing, on social media, until they come here and they're here for 90 days, nothing less, they'll see the difference of what people are saying on social media compared to what they're now truly encountering.
I think
it's going to be different.
In my opinion, after a year for me, that was when a lot of things opened up in my eyes. And I haven't been, I've made some mistakes, as we all do. But, I'm happy here. I'm happy instead of other bullshit. I mean, our country, I'm not sure where our country's going to go next year, but we will or won't talk about that another day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take it easy. You have a good night.
You too, man. Thank you. Thank you. Hey everybody, this is Chad Raney. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video today. The video, his name is Vaughn. He was a trip, and I hope you like this video. If you can like and subscribe and notify. That way you'll know the new videos as they show up in your little feed as far as your YouTube channel. You'll automatically be notified, and that way we can see you as we're moving forward. Every new video you're gonna know first. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe and notify. Thank you. Have a good day.